My message is simple. It is that I am alive. I'm well. That's it. I hope they believe it.
Do you remember a woman named Tiffany and a very weird and mysterious event surrounding her that would lead to her disappearance? No, not Tiffany Gomez, but a woman named Tiffany Dover. You see, Tiffany Dover, a nurse manager for Chi Memorial Hospital in Tennessee, did not realize that she would be within minutes of horror when she decided to be a hero on live TV during a time of great uncertainty, a time where the C-19 was spreading like wildfire. Now, to combat this rapidly spreading disease, a rapidly created jab or a poke was created in response. There are people that have asked, what does jab or poke mean when it comes to the C-19? It means the C-19 needle. You can't say certain words on YouTube, or you will find your channel being demonetized or removed altogether. So because the jab was created so rapidly, there were people that were very cautious, very weary about getting the jab. There were many people that did not want to get the jab altogether. The government realized this, so what they did was they had people of high positions, people of power like Joe Biden, go on live TV, get the jab to quell the public's fears of the jab, even though some have realized that he was not poked at all, or perhaps poked with saline. This was still the purpose behind him going on live TV, was to once again quell the public's fears of the jab. This still did not sway the public's opinion when it came to getting the jab. So a nurse named Tiffany Dover, she decides to go on live TV and tells everybody, look, I am just a nurse. I am a person like everybody else. I'm going to go ahead and get the jab in my arm to show there is absolutely nothing wrong with the jab. Nothing will happen. And this is how it played out on live TV.
When you woke up this morning, did you know you were going to be receiving the vaccine?
I did, yes. So, all of my staff, we are excited to get the vaccine. We are in the COVID unit, so therefore, my team will be getting first chances to get the vaccine. And I know that it's really, I'm sorry, I'm feeling really dizzy. Oh, I'm sorry.
You okay?
So what happened? What happened to Tiffany? Well, this would be her response as to why she fainted.
And what unit do you work in?
Yeah. It's Tiffany Dover, Tiffany Dover.
And what unit do you work in?
CCU.
So I guess just talk to us a little bit about what just happened after passing out after taking the vaccine.
Okay, so I had a syncopal episode. I have a history of having an overactive vagal response. And so with that, if I have pain from anything, hangnail, or if I stub my toe, I can just pass out. So what happened is I get an aura before of feeling weak, dizzy, disoriented, and it just, hit me all of a sudden. Just felt really diaphoretic, and I could feel it coming on, so I felt a little disoriented. But I feel fine now, and the pain in my arm is very minimal, actually, but it doesn't take much.
So you feel fine now?
I feel fine now. And this is, I have passed out probably 6 times in the past 6 weeks. It's common for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
No regret taking the vaccine?
No. I mean, like I said, a hangnail can cause me to have this.
So this is common?
It is for me, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Typically, like I said, I can feel it coming on, and I could, but I was trying to push through, but, you know.
Okay.
Thanks for talking.
Well, yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Many people were not buying this explanation. Well, for one, why is a woman who could faint at the drop of a dime the nurse manager of the most critical portion of the hospital? Well, I guess you can't discriminate, so I don't know how that works. But again, why would they put this nurse on live TV who easily faints over the slightest bit of pain, getting the poke of a needle during a time, once again, where many people were weary about the jab? This definitely did not add up. Her explanation did not pass the smell test. Well, since we had her name, Tiffany Dover, or so we thought, we the public were very concerned about this nurse from Tennessee. So with that information alone, the internet does what it does best, and they found her social media. Now, Tiffany Dover was pretty active prior to getting the jab. She would post on Instagram about once or twice a day. But after this incident on live TV where she fainted, people had noticed that she was no longer active on Instagram. She had completely stopped posting. But oddly enough, people had noticed that photos that were there previously, such as photos of her and her husband, started to get deleted. So people started to leave comments on other photos saying, "Tiffany, are you there? Tiffany, are you okay?" They were not getting a response. People were leaving other comments such as, "Tiffany, I'm worried. Ever since you got the jab on live TV and you fainted, you have not been speaking out." And still, there were no replies coming from her Instagram. Matter of fact, there were no replies anywhere. There were no updates to this woman. The only thing people found were deleted posts on Instagram. The last time Tiffany Dover ever gave a statement or a follow-up on her health was the first time she fainted on live TV. So like with every mysterious event where a person goes silent afterwards, the public took her as missing until rumors of her death started to circulate around the internet. This is the point where people started to realize that Tiffany Dover might not be this woman's name and that her actual name is Tiffany Pontes. Tiffany Lachey Pontes, because her photo was backtraced linking to this name. Now, in this next video that I am going to play, I do want to warn this individual's accent is rather strong, but he does provide some compelling proof that he found Tiffany Lachey Pontes' date of death.
Okay, people, let's find when died Tiffany Dover Pontes. Tiffany Dover, Tiffany Pontes Dover, Tiffany Lachey, registered nurse, nurse manager, Chattanooga Pontes. Her birthday, death, same days as vaccination, December 17, 2020. December. Tiffany Lachey Pontes Dover, December 2020. December 17 midnight, maybe 18. December, the day that day. Check yourself if you don't believe.
Yes, during that time, if you were to search Tiffany Lachey Pontes, DeKalb County of Tennessee would have records of a death certificate for her. Not only that, there would be records that would show not only her birth, November 25th, 1990, but also her day of death, December 17th, 2020, the same exact day that she would get the jab on live TV. Also, it would show her occupation, a registered nurse with Chi Memorial. So clearly, based off the internet, this woman passed away. But can we trust the internet? What is Tiffany Dover saying about these rumors? Well, she said absolutely nothing. She was not speaking out, which was rather weird because during that time, this story was spreading just as fast as the C-19. To the point, news and media had to release fact checkers to prove that this woman was still alive. Well, how did they prove that? Well, they proved that by word of mouth. Chi Memorial, they would release a statement by saying, Tiffany Dover is still alive. She still works inside the hospital. The public asked, well, can we hear this from Tiffany? Chi Memorial said, no, our word is good enough. You do not need to hear this from Tiffany. That Tiffany needed her privacy. Now, at the same time, Tiffany Dover's Instagram was still not active. The only time it's been active, like I said, were when it came to those deleted posts. Yet, for a woman that wanted her privacy on social media, she still kept her Instagram open. Her Instagram was never closed to the public. So then you may be saying, well, then why wasn't Tiffany Dover's family speaking out? Well, they were releasing posts how they were getting lawyers involved. Then they would delete these posts, and many people assumed that the family were getting death threats. So many people were saying that no, something is definitely wrong here. There are a lot of rumors spreading on the internet. This is not a good look for the jab, and all they could simply do is have this woman come on camera or give an update, a photo update, whatever, to show she is still alive. Tiffany Dover put herself out there by going on live TV to squash people's fears when it came to the jab. Well, she fainted and she has not been seen or heard from since that day. So of course people are going to fall into the rabbit hole that this woman, something nefarious happened to her. So Chi Memorial, they decided they had enough. They had enough of the rumors. They had enough of the conspiracies. So they released a photo of Tiffany Dover surrounded by other nurses and other staff, where these staff are holding up signs that show the date, December 21st, 2020. So there you go. There is no way that Tiffany Dover passed away on December 17th, the day that she got the jab on live TV, because here she is next to a sign that shows the date, December 21st, 2020, and it shows her name that we support Tiffany. Well, Chi Memorial of Tennessee did not realize that they were going up against the internet. The internet examined this photo with a fine-tooth comb, and they came to the conclusion that this woman in this photograph on December 21st, 2020 was not the same woman in this video on December 17th, 2020. The internet gave Tiffany Dover the Tiffany Dover treatment. That is not the same woman. The eyebrows are more spaced apart. The nose bridge is thinner. Her neck is wider. Her forehead is different. Her hairline is different. So the internet said, Chi Memorial would release a super creepy video that shows Tiffany Dover giggling as it pans over to doctors and nurses associated with this hospital.
All right.
With a caption from Chi Memorial's Instagram stating, "We are pleased to state that Tiffany Dover is doing well." Chi Memorial is the only one speaking out when it comes to Tiffany Dover. She has yet to speak out or has shown any proof of life. She has not given any updates at this point on her social media. Well, that's weird. Why is the hospital giving statements on her behalf, and why is she not speaking out? Well, Tiffany Dover would eventually speak out. She would eventually show proof of life. 3 years later. That's right. After all this time of not speaking out and the hospital speaking on her behalf, and from 2020 to 2023, after all these bizarre events had taken place around the world, including these people seeing very bizarre things on their flights, out pops Tiffany Dover out of nowhere.
Tiffany Dover wants the world to know one thing.
My message is simple. It is that I am alive. I'm well. That's it. I hope they believe it.
They are the massive online community of conspiracy theorists who've been convinced she's dead for more than 2 years. I made a whole podcast about it. Tiffany wasn't ready to share her story then, but now
I'm ready to just put my story out there, own my story.
That story begins in 2020.
Tiffany Dover's story was really hot in 2020, spreading all over the internet and other forms of media. Like I said, they even had to release the fact checkers. 2021, it started to die down, and nobody was talking about Tiffany Dover in 2022, and especially in 2023. Yet, in 2023, NBC News conducts an interview with Tiffany Dover, where the title of this video happens to be, Nurse Speaks Out After Being Subject of Anti-Vaccine Conspiracy Theory. At this point, sad to say, the internet does not care. This story is now considered biblically old. It would be like news coming out of ancient Rome. This interview would have been rather important and interesting in 2020, but 3 years later in 2023, the only thing I can ask is, why? In this interview where she clearly looks different, this is what she says.
I ended up passing out. So that created the opposite effect of what I would have liked.
But you got right back up.
I did. And this is something that's happened to me my whole life. I do have episodes where I pass out.
But in that moment, a conspiracy theory was born.
People thought that I was dead. People thought that I was an actress paid to do this, that I was paid off by a big farm. It was completely overwhelming, to be honest.
It snowballed fast.
I had people showing up at my house. I had people reaching out to my friends, my family. I even received death threats.
Were you afraid for your family?
Absolutely. Yes.
Through it all, Tiffany kept silent, and that only made the online frenzy worse.
Why not come out and dispel these rumors?
Initially, that was exactly what I wanted to do. And unfortunately, I was told that that absolutely would not happen.
The hospital told you not to speak out.
Correct. Yes. It would be irrecoverable damage is what I was told if I was to speak out and have another episode.
Instead, the hospital put out this video, intending to show she was alive.
This interview as a whole really didn't make much sense. It almost came off like a distraction. She says that people were sending her death threats, but the internet already believed that this woman passed away. Why would they send death threats to a woman who's already deceased? She says that the hospital stopped her from speaking out, but why? More damage was caused from not speaking out than speaking out. This generated far more conspiracy theorists when it came to the jab. And, well, like CHI Memorial or Chi Memorial would say, there is no more information. That is that. The last update was on April 2023 when it came to Tiffany Dover's story.